Hello, hello, welcome back or welcome to Soul Whispers with Michelle. This is a soul-led message, which means if it doesn't resonate, you're fighting the story, or it just doesn't make sense, go ahead and leave it behind for the souls that it's meant to find. May love hold you, may truth guide you, and may you be released from whatever is not yours. And so it is, my friends. So before I begin, I'm not sure if what I'm discussing now is going to be a part of this reading or not. I think that it is, and I think that there is a specific collective right now that is going through the same thing that I've recently gone through. So this is why I'm sharing this information and just kind of some of the conclusions that I've come to. So I haven't released or recorded a video in, I believe, about 2 weeks, maybe even 2.5 weeks. And sometimes I struggle with this because I know that it's important to stay consistent. But what was happening is, and I didn't realize it, and this is not the first time, I realized this is a cycle that it's a rhythm, we'll say, that I continuously go through. And it's a reminder that when I get into this specific part of this cycle or this rhythm, that it's almost like there's a reset happening. And the reason, for example, that I couldn't move forward with the readings as I was doing them is because I was shifting my perspective within the cards and shifting my perspective within the framework of my cards. So I was getting basically a new understanding, or maybe even a deeper layer of understanding, before I was pulled back to actually make a video. But I will say, like, in the interim, it's hard. It was harder for me because, again, I kept thinking, like, you're not staying consistent. And it would be like I would try to come back and record, and I just wasn't feeling the cards. I wasn't feeling the message, and it wasn't flowing. So if you find yourself in some sort of cycle in that way, I think reflecting upon it and reflecting upon when this happens, what typically comes before and after this sort of cycle in your rhythm, or I don't know if that's the right word, but this place in your specific cycle or your rhythm, that you too may be experiencing the same thing. So it's important, I think, to understand that consistency is continuing to come back, and I believe continuing to find the truth in what you are doing. And I also think that's in part how you master something, because when you move through these cycles, you adjust and recalibrate, and then you continue. And I think you continue with a stronger foundation because you were able to take that break, shift what needed to shift, and then come back. So that's, again, just, I'm not sure if these cards are going to reflect that or not, but I just felt kind of called to share that with all of you. So I also got a new addition to my family. I adopted another Rottweiler because that is like my soul breed. I just absolutely love them so much. Speaking of which, let me pause for a moment and just see where my little troublemaker is at. All right, she's just sleeping, taking a little nappy. All right, so without any further ado, let's see what's going on within your energy. All right, so we have the Three of Pentacles. You're moving something, you're progressing something in the physical. So, and it's interesting to come off of what we were talking about, right? And especially because of what I just said. So I do very much feel like this is going to resonate with the beginning message of this. So the present is about continuing and moving something forward in the physical, whether this be a skill, something that you're doing within your job, but you are physically doing something to progress yourself forward. All right, let's see what's challenging that. This is so on par with what we just talked about. We had the Ten of Swords. There's some perception that is ending. Okay. In fact, with this Ten of Swords, it's like it already ended. So this is what is challenging this progression. I think it's accepting these certain endings, these previous perceptions, previous beliefs of what you thought to be true, and progressing forward, leaving those things behind. Okay. Let's see what's gotten us to this point. Yeah, this is so on par with what I was just talking about. The world. It's like something completely new is happening. The way that you are, and this is like all the elements. So it's, you know, the way that your beliefs are, the way that you are moving with those beliefs, like the action that you're taking from those beliefs, the vitality that you have from those beliefs, and the connection that you have from those beliefs. All of that has physically changed for you, or that's what's led to this current moment. And that's why there had to be this ending. But remembering that this ending is actually the progression forward, because this needed to end in order for, I feel like, some sort of mastery. We'll see what the cards come out, but it feels like there's a mastery happening right now, and this is why you are currently going through what you're going through. And it may not feel like that, because it can feel like a struggle and a challenge in this moment. But if you take what I said earlier and try to look at, like I said, that rhythm and the cycle, I think you yourself will see that something is significantly changing. And when you allow this change and this ending, you're going to progress yourself forward. What does your soul want? We have the Hermit. And again, this is going within you. This is going within to get the knowledge that's there. So again, this is more of a reflection to me of what I talked about earlier, as far as reflecting upon the cycle, reflecting upon your place within that cycle, so that you gain that knowledge and understand why you're having to go through this, and it will get you out of it quicker. Not that that has to be the goal. It does not. It's just that if you're able to make that your focus, you'll get there quicker. But sometimes that's not divine timing. You know, sometimes you do need to sit in that in order to feel the relief of letting that other thing go, and the relief in finding the knowledge and the truth in order to let that thing go. Let's see what is supporting you. We have the Four of Pentacles. It's interesting because it feels like you're stuck. This person is obviously trapped in this prison, we'll say. There's an open window here. So it looks like that there is an out for you, but right now it's keeping you stuck because that's what's actually supporting you. Right now it's like you need the rest, okay? And you need the rest almost from that physical action taken in order for you to gain the stability beneath your feet, or in this case, it's like really something that's going to hold you up. So this little pause, or this little whatever it is you're going through, is actually supporting your growth forward. Let's see what's coming in to further support you. All right, well, I guess I did pick two, so we'll take it. The first is the Two of Wands. So what's coming in to support you is your choice. There's a choice to put your energy somewhere, and with the Wands, we're talking about what is going to give you more energy. And when you choose the thing that gives you more energy, this is what's going to progress you forward. Now, in conjunction with the Justice card, that's all cause and effect, right? So it's really considering, and this is what's coming in to support you, is that there's a choice here that's going to give you more energy and more vitality. And that's the choice that your soul's asking you to make, is to choose whatever it is, but the choice has to be something that gives you more life force energy. And a lot of times action is the thing that gets you out of that. But it's not just any action, right? It's the action that's going to be give you the most vitality. And even within this, it's like the action that you need to take or where you need to put your life force energy is in figuring out this cycle. I really think there's something significant about learning about this particular cycle for yourself, just so you have a better understanding of when it occurs, what's transpiring, and what you can do in the meantime until this particular point in time in this cycle is completed. Okay, let's see your perception of what's happening. We have the Chariot. I think you are looking to put your energy into something and move it forward. But right now it looks like your perception is you don't know where to place it, right? Like I'm noticing the signs, and more importantly, it's like the look on this person's face is like, I don't know where to go. And again, going back to the cards that are coming in to support you, you can choose where to go. The choice that is going to be most beneficial for you or most in alignment for you is the choice that gives you more energy. So what I want you to do is sit and think about both choices and what feels more exciting for you to do. What's going to give life back to you? That's the choice to make. And you do have to make it, because it also seems, just again from this particular Chariot, the perception here is you want movement, but you're not making the choice, and you can only have movement when you make the choice. What follows the choice is your actions and your connection to what you're choosing. But important to make the choice. All right, and then how are you interacting with the environment around you? We have the Six of Cups. Oh, I like this for you. I really do, because what this marks is the way your external environment is impacting you is by transitioning you to things that feel more connected, that you feel more connected to. So I like this because it's not just about what gives you more energy, but also you're interacting with the environment and what you feel most connected to. So it looks like what you haven't had connection with, or what you may be losing connection with previously, you're now moving into a different type of transition with that. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it ended. If we go back to what I was talking about at the beginning of this, I am transitioning this to the way that I am connected to the cards is what's transitioned. I'm not transitioning away from the cards, but I am transitioning from the perception and the meaning that I had within these cards. So that feels very much like what you're doing. I feel like because of this Chariot and this particular Chariot card, it feels like this could be a little bit difficult for you. And I think it's difficult because of the fact that maybe of what I said, that you feel like you need to stay consistent. And if you transition away from this, it's not consistent. But there is a consistency there, the consistency in you following the connections that are most resonant with you and the connections that give you the most energy. These are indications that these are actually in alignment for you. And I want to say will bring you peace. I'm just not sure where the peace is coming from. It's like what I wanted to say, but not necessarily what I'm seeing within the cards, if that makes sense. Let's see what your hopes and fears are. We've got the Queen of Wands. There's this hope of cultivating confidence. Okay, but the confidence comes from well, it's important, right? Where does confidence come from? why is my mind even going blank on that? Like, where does confidence come from? Obviously, it comes from within ourselves. One thing that's coming through here with confidence is it's the ability to continuously go through something and come out on the other end. You know, it's like when you're riding a bike for the first time, you're not 100% confident in what you're doing, or even take it to the first time you ever drove. You're not 100% confident, but the more you do it, the greater your confidence becomes in it. Because yes, you're going to make mistakes along the way, but you also learn from those mistakes. So I feel the hope with this is basically this transition, because I think you are making the transition, but I think you may not be that confident in the transition because of all the things that we talked about earlier. But I just feel like you are the confidence will come, especially if you do the whole looking at this particular cycle and how this particular cycle has worked in your life in the past. And just really understanding yourself and not understanding your nature and working with your nature, not against your nature. It's like if you know that you procrastinate, you can prepare for that in a better way. It's almost like, and this is weird, but it's almost like there's nothing wrong with procrastination if that is what always works for you. If, kind of like if your nature is to do better work when there's pressure against time, then work with your nature. If you don't do great work when you're pressured, that's when you know you need to start it earlier, and again, you do what you need to do to work with your nature. That's it. Like, that's it. I think that's where the confidence is going to come in with you, because when you break down your own particular cycle and you work with your nature and not try to change it, it's just easier to be in flow, if that makes sense. Let's see what the outcome is. We have the Empress. I think that there's a lot of fertility and a lot of, so what I mean by fertility, there's a lot that you are going to birth and create as long as you allow yourself to make the transition from this connection to this connection. You choose the things that give you life force energy, that build energy. You know, sometimes like when you don't feel like working out and you work out for like you're 5 minutes in, and then you get this like burst of energy. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm like, when you sit down and actually visualize it and think about it, what is actually physically in reality going to give you more life force energy. There are times when actually resting, like your body is physically tired and it needs to be rested, that is the action that you need to take. But there are other times that even if you are feeling tired, not a lot of times, but sometimes you're tired because you're not moving enough. But this is where you need to figure out your personal nature. When you figure out your nature and you realize and work around, like, how do I plan around this? This is me, so how do I work around me? That's when I think you're going to cultivate a lot. I think that's when you're going to start seeing a lot of things materialize for you in a more of an effortless way, because you're working with your energy and not against it. So that is what I have for you today. If you felt understood, seen, and heard, and you resonated with this message, I ask you to support me either by donating to my Venmo or my PayPal, or just supporting the channel by liking, subscribing, or sharing this channel with somebody else. If you'd like to leave a comment, I love emojis. So if you leave an emoji for something that most resonates with your energy, I would love to see that. Until the next whispers, my friends.